You know that gut drop feeling when your favorite crypto tanks? Yeah? Well, I felt that last week. Chainlink's price was falling, my palms were sweaty. But then I noticed something odd. A few mysterious whales were buying millions of dollars worth of Link, while the rest of us were panicking. It was kind of like they knew something that maybe we didn't. So I had to investigate. Now, I am no stranger to Chainlink. I've been bullish and heavily invested in Link since 2020. Now, I've ridden the wild roller coaster from exhilarating highs to brutal lows. But this recent plunge had me on the edge. Right, one day I'm sitting at around $26 with my Link position, right? Then suddenly it's sliding down near $21 in just a week. Link fell over 8%. Even the on-chain activity looked pretty weak. Daily active addresses dropped from around 8,000 to about 5,800, and by all accounts, things looked pretty bleak. So there I am, staring at the red numbers on my screen, bracing for even more pain. Then, bam, news breaks that some big players, we call them whales, quietly scooped up almost 800,000 Link during the dip. So that's kind of like $17 million worth at $21 a pop. Snagged, right, or snapped, I should say, up while everyone else was all just kind of whining. Now, my first thought was, what do they know that maybe we don't? Why would anyone load up on Link when the market sentiment was in the gutter? So at that moment, my inner crypto detective kicked in. I jumped into our free educational Discord server. The link, by the way, is in the description. Right, this is kind of where fellow Chainlink nerds were all kind of already buzzing about the whole whale buying thing. Now, the theories were flying around. Some said a big announcement must be coming. Others joked that whales just enjoyed discount shopping. Me, I decided to dig in and follow the money. And here's the thing. When I see smart money moving and flowing one way, well, the kind of crowd running the other way, my curiosity kind of goes a bit ballistic, right? I was just, at least wasn't just going to scroll kind of Twitter for answers here. I wanted some pretty hard clues. First, I looked at the price action around the whale activity. Now, Chainlink had been struggling for a few weeks. It was down 8% from the week before, hovering at around $21.58. Not that long ago, in late August, it was above $26. So that's a pretty hefty drop, right? Usually, whales leave sinking ships, not jumping aboard, right? Yet here they were, adding large amounts of Link tokens to their holdings despite the grim data. Now, many traders, they look at it like a bit of a bold sign of confidence. It's kind of like watching firefighters run into a burning building, right? Counterintuitive and a bit gutsy, right? And get this, apparently, this isn't their first rodeo. In an earlier move not too long ago, whales had already accumulated nearly 2 million Link tokens in a buying spree. Now, they've been quietly feasting on it for a while. I'll admit, seeing whales go on a bit of a feeding frenzy gave me a little bit of FOMO, right? After double checking my own analysis and maybe even drowning a coffee or two at 3 a.m. in the morning, I followed the whales. Just a little bit. I hopped onto my BitGet account and snagged up a little extra kind of Link tokens at around $21. And by the way, I do have an affiliate link for BitGet that's in the description. Now, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but using it does support the channel here, just to be transparent. Now, of course, I'm not crazy enough to throw all of my funds onto a single platform, so I spread my buys across multiple different exchanges, including Blowfin. And yes, there's an affiliate link for Blowfin also down in the description, and it also helps the channel out here. So you might be thinking, why diversify exchanges? It's because in crypto, you don't want all of your eggs in a single basket, or all of your coins on one exchange. I've learned that the hard way. Now, after my little buying adventure, I also reinforced myself. I actually refocused, I should say, on the investigation. I'm kind of a critical kind of number that kept flashing up in my mind was $25. Now, in crypto trading, certain price levels, they take on an almost mythical importance, right? And for Link, $25 was the line in the sand. Now, it's a big kind of resistance level that anyone and their grandmother is probably watching right now. So if Link can push through $25 with conviction, well, that could actually open the gates to $30 and beyond. Some even whisper about $40 link. Now, I could practically hear the bullish chants starting, but on the flip side, if this rally attempt fizzles out and we slip under $20, well, all bets are off. Sub $20 is kind of like a trapdoor for more pain. And as someone who's been around a bit, I know that crypto markets can turn on a dime. Today's hero can be tomorrow's rug pull. So I'm watching $25 like a hawk then, right? Breaking that could be a game changer, but failure would actually make me tighten my seatbelt for a quick kind of drop. At this point, opinions in the community were all over the place. Some people think that Link is going to bounce between $20 and $25 for a while, basically moving sideways in a boring holding pattern. Honestly, after the chaos of 2025, a quiet phase wouldn't shock me at all. But others are convinced that these whale buys are the spark that will ignite a rally real quick. Now, real logic. The trading volumes are relatively low, and even a small shift in mood could send Link flying, as one analyst put it. Now, it's kind of like the market's dried tinder right now, and any spark, positive or negative, could light it up. So, which is it going to be? Is it going to be a limp noodle of a market, or is it going to be a firework? Now, I didn't have the answers yet, and I sure wasn't going to just cross my fingers and hope. Now, this might shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Phew. I know that was a bit of a mouthful, but I mean every single word of it. Crypto will humble you real fast, trust me. Now, with that reality check out of the way, let's get back to the story. So, there I was, determined to find out why whales were so confident. I started looking for clues in the news, the on-chain data, anywhere that a puzzle piece might be hiding. And it didn't take long to strike gold. Now, the first clue was almost hidden in plain sight. The Chainlink Foundation itself has been accumulating Link. That's right. The people behind Chainlink were actually quietly adding to their own stash. Specifically, on September 18th, the Chainlink Foundation Reserve Wallet scooped up an extra 43,000 Chainlink tokens, right? Bumping their holdings or total holdings to about 323,116 Link tokens. Now, 43,000 Link isn't a gigantic number for a foundation, right? Roughly about $900,000 at that time. But that's it's kind of the signal that really does matter, isn't it, right? Because it's like seeing a company's CEO buying up shares of their own stock. A little kind of vote of confidence from the inside. Now, they wouldn't be adding to reserves if they didn't see value in, at least at these prices, right? At least that was my take to it. The next clue, it came from halfway across the world, Saudi Arabia's oldest bank. Now, the Saudi kind of bank is, jumping on the Chainlink bandwagon. Now, this one got me quite excited. So picture a bank with over $100 billion in assets, traditionally very conservative, deciding to dip a toe into blockchain world. And those kind of, at least whose tech are they actually going to be using for this? Well, it's Chainlinks, right? And Saudi kind of Owl Bank just announced a strategic partnership to use Chainlink's technology, namely the Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol, or CCIP for short, to actually build the next-gen on-chain applications in line with the Kingdom's Vision 2030 push, right? And now, in plain English, a major traditional bank is integrating Chainlink to power its future fintech innovations. That's pretty huge. Now, I don't know about you, but hearing that gave me goosebumps. It's kind of like one thing when crypto projects talk about bridging to big money, right? It's another when it's an actual big money institution that starts using crypto networks tech. It validates the heck out of Chainlink's real-world utility. And the clues kept on coming. It turns out that it's not just the banks. Even the United States government is now indirectly in the mix. Recently, the United States Department of Commerce struck a deal to pump official economic data onto the blockchain through Chainlink's oracles. And yes, you heard that right. Key government stats like GDP and inflation indexes are being beamed on-chain via Chainlink. So when I read that, my jaw almost hit the floor. I mean, talk about mainstream adoption, right? You've got Uncle Sam using blockchain tech to distribute data. Now, this is not some hypothetical pie-in-the-sky promise. It's actually happening. And Chainlink's network is literally becoming part of the United States data infrastructure. Now, for a nerd like me, that's both insanely cool, and a sign that Chainlink is weaving itself into some pretty critical systems. Now, if I were a whale knowing all of this, I might feel pretty good about accumulating Link on a dip too. By now, a picture was forming in my mind. Each clue was a bit of a puzzle piece clicking into place, revealing a much bigger narrative. Chainlink isn't just another altcoin hoping for a price pump. Chainlink is actually quietly building the rails for a tokenized world. The project's core goal is to create standards that let real-world assets connect seamlessly to the blockchain systems. So let's think about all of the assets that are out there in the real world. Stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate, you name it. It's trillions upon trillions of dollars worth of stuff. Now, most of it is still outside of the crypto universe, sitting in old school systems. But what happens if those assets start moving on chain? Here's a spoiler. A ridiculous amount of value could flood into blockchain ecosystems, and guess which network is positioned to be the bridge for all of that value? You guessed it, Chainlink. Right, they're developing the protocols and the standards to make that transition secure and smooth. In fact, many industry experts straight up believe that Chainlink standards could one day support tens of trillions of dollars moving on chain. So just let that sink in. Tens of trillions. That was with a T, right? Even if that's even a long-term vision, just the possibility is enough to make any long-term investor kind of salivate just a little. Now, I got a little bit giddy realizing all of this. I was like, hold on, are these whales essentially betting on Chainlink becoming the internet of finance down the road? And it sure started to seem that way to me, right? The cross-chain interoperability protocol, the CCIP that I mentioned, is a big part of all of that. It's basically Chainlink's vision and version of a universal translator, letting different blockchains and traditional systems talk to each other. The way that the internet connected global information, Chainlink could connect global finance. And I don't want to sound like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid here, but there are certainly challenges and competition to kind of think about. But these developments, they kind of felt like confirmation of a thesis that I've had since 2020, that Chainlink could be the foundational infrastructure for the next era of the web. Now, just when I thought the case was closed, another development nudged me further into the bullish territory. Regulators are slowly, and I do mean slowly, coming around. Now, on September 18th, the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, quietly tweaked kind of some rules, making it a little bit easier to approve crypto-based exchange-traded funds and products. Now, for crypto geeks, this was a pretty big deal. It signaled that regulators are warming up to the idea of mainstream crypto investment vehicles. So you might be thinking, why does this matter for Chainlink? Well, there's no Chainlink ETF yet, but the key word is yet. The rule adjustment means that the chances of a Chainlink ETF getting approved is actually much higher now. Maybe not tomorrow, no, but maybe sooner than we maybe all thought. And just the hope of the future of Chainlink ETF has added even more fuel to this potential fire. Now, I remember when mere rumors of a Bitcoin ETF would send the whole market into a frenzy. So if we get news of a Chainlink ETF approval, oh boy, right? The idea is that an ETF would make it much easier for big institutional investors, the suits and the pensions and the hedge funds of the world, to get exposure to Link tokens. More demand, potentially more upward price pressure, and the whales loading up today might be playing the long game for that particular scenario. Now, at this point, I stepped back and I looked at the bigger picture that my investigation had uncovered. Suddenly it clicked. This wasn't just random whale games or some lucky guesswork. It's all of the clues, all of the whale accumulation, the foundations buying in, the Saudi bank partnership, the US government data feeds, the ETF whispers. They all point to one thing, that Chainlink is gearing up to transcend its current role and possibly carry a titanic amount of the world's value on its network. And these whales, the so-called smart money, well, they are likely to see the writing that is on the wall. And it kind of felt like I had stumbled upon a secret roadmap of where all of this could go. And in that moment, the mystery was solved in my mind. The whales are bullish on Chainlink, not just because of a potential price pop next week, but because Chainlink might become the plumbing of global finance in the years to come. They're positioning early for what could be a seismic shift in how assets are actually handled. So I sat there, letting that realization wash over me. As someone who's kept the faith in Chainlink for many years, this was a validating moment, I won't lie. I cracked a little smile just thinking about maybe I'm not crazy for holding Link through all of the drama. But I also know better than to start high-fiving myself just yet. This is the same crypto world that had me feeling like a genius one day and a fool the next. I remember back in 2021 watching Link rocket towards all-time highs of around $52. My portfolio was beaming. I was on cloud 9 and then wham! The crypto market imploded and dragged Chainlink all the way back down. That roller coaster taught me a valuable lesson in humility and impatience. So, what's my move now? Well, honestly, pretty much what I've always been doing here. I'm going to hodl and I'm going to stay informed. Now, I'm as bullish as ever on Chainlink's long-term story, especially with everything that I just uncovered. But I'm not expecting a straight line up. In the short term, we might just bounce around for a bit, maybe test that $25 barrier a few times. Right? We could even drop again, who knows? Right? Maybe those whales will get another chance to stack cheaper Link if the broader market wobbles further. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the data and watch how all of this whales versus trader dynamic plays on out. And of course, I'm going to keep chatting with everyone in the Discord about new developments. Seriously, if you're not in the Discord yet, get in there. It's a chill place to learn and share, and we've got a great crew dissecting this stuff in real time. In the end, this whole crypto detective adventure reinforced why I fell in love with Chainlink in the first place. It's not just about token price, it's about the technology and the vision, connecting the worlds, bridging the old finance with the new, and yes, maybe one day securing those tens of trillions on chain. Right? Whether that grand vision plays out in full, nobody can really say for sure, but seeing whales making pretty big bets, seeing real institutions come on board, it's given me a renewed sense of confidence. At the same time, I'm keeping my feet on the ground, well, as much as one can while driving and diving down the crypto rabbit holes anyway. So that's my story of tracking the Chainlink whales and uncovering what might be driving them. If nothing else, it's a heck of a lot more interesting than the usual doom scrolling. Now, I'm curious, what do you think is going on behind the scenes here? Are the whales onto something huge, or are they actually just reading too many tea leaves here? You can let me know in the comments down below, or jump over to the free Discord server, because this one is a mystery that's, well, still unfolding. And hey, if you've enjoyed coming along on this little investigative journey with me, then stick around by smashing that like button and hitting subscribe so that you can join me in the next video. Until then, have a great day.